I'm Shannon Stange. I'm live at Missions Fest Vancouver 2020. And I'm here with Angie Paek. Welcome, Angie.
Hi, thank you.
Wonderful. And you're with Fuller Seminary?
Yes, I am.
Wonderful. We were getting to know each other a little bit before the show here today, and you were telling me that you actually grew up on the mission field.
Yes.
Tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, my parents took me to the Philippines when I was 3 months old.
Oh, wow.
And we were there for about 5 years. My dad is actually an alumnus from Fuller himself. So in between, he finished his degree at Fuller, and then we went to Indonesia, and I was there until I was 15.
Wow.
Yeah.
So like full on, the whole
Full
missionary
on
experience.
missionary kid, third culture kid, pastor's kid, all of the letters.
Right. And we were talking a little bit about this story that you wrote for one of the, or an article for Fuller, and it's about the journey out of that world into education.
Right.
Obviously, you're with Fuller, so there's this whole other side of your life that you began to embrace. I'd like you to talk about the journey between that, because we're talking about altar vision, we're talking about the surrendered life, and sometimes people think that you go to the mission field to become surrendered. Right. But in a way, what I'm hearing from you in our conversation is that it was the opposite.
Right. Yeah. So I grew up in the mission field. I kind of lived out mission, like the practical side of what mission looks like. That was my life for however many years, all the way up to when I entered seminary, and from a life of mission to actually studying mission, I wanted to connect the ties of practical living out faith to like thinking about it. And my experience at Fuller was very much one of my faith, or my understanding of mission in general, was deconstructed and reconstructed. And I think just the idea of like living an altered life is one where you're surrendering to God, and the fact that like I had to break down what I knew to re-engage with all these new concepts was a really humbling but beautiful and reconciliatory experience. One of renewal and hope, and I think it helps me to kind of look at the work that God is doing in a stance of hearing and listening to where the Spirit is moving first, and then being invited to participate rather than the other way around.
Yeah, we were talking about the deconstruction of ideas and concepts and faith that you go through when you go through seminary.
Right.
Some people don't make it out the other end.
Yeah.
Of that deconstruction, but it's in a way it's kind of a surrendering of even your faith to God, so that He can then say, here's what's essential.
Right.
Here's what's real. Yeah. And here's how I want you to really embrace not just the idea of the practice, because that's really what you were experiencing when you were on the mission field, the practice of faith, but also the theological grid for that in real life.
Yeah.
Now you're with Fuller. You guys are obviously here as an exhibitor.
Right.
If there's someone here who's at the conference, or maybe they're watching this after they want to connect with you, how would they do that?
Well, they can come to our booth. We're at booth 57 and 58. We actually also have a cool VR experience. It's a conversation on interreligious dialogue, so they can come. But I can help answer some questions about. Rephrasing. I have met very many missionary kids who are kind of reluctant to re-engage with faith spaces, and so I can have that conversation in a more safe space. But yeah, they come to our booth.
Yeah, there's a center that you have to go through even in cultural re-entry.
Right, exactly.
And I think that's what we're talking about here. And you engaged in, or Fuller was actually the tool that God used to help you engage in that, and then reconstruct your faith on the other side of it. Re-entry into a Western culture for people who have been in missions is it's a hard thing.
Right.
And so I would encourage, if you are out there and watching us, come talk to Angie Paek. The conversation may help you. So
awesome.
Thank you so much, Angie.
Yeah, thank you.
Have a great day here at Missions Fest.
Thank you.